So you guys want to know what sources are. You're new to OBS or perhaps new to streaming in general, you've come to the right place. Guys, if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe if you want more OBS tutorials like this one. Okay, so what are sources in OBS? Well, I'm going to tell you. So, sorry for the inception again. Guys, if you watch my videos, you know that things are just organised a little bit differently. So, before we went through scenes, now we're going to go through sources, which is literally adjacent to the scenes box down here. Now, you can move your docs around, by the way, and we're going to go and discuss docs a little bit more in detail next time. But here's how you add a source. So you have these buttons down the bottom here. You have add, remove, properties, move up, move down. The move up, move down, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can move up sources like this, and you can move down sources like this. You also have two options here. So you have this little eye. This makes it visible or not. So we click this, it's no longer visible. Click it again, it's visible again. So the little line through the eye means it's not visible. Then you have a lock feature. At the moment it's unlocked. If I lock it, I can't do anything with the scene in the preview box up here. I can't move it. However, if I unlock it, you can see I can move it around and I can use the transform tools as well. So if you don't want your background to move behind all of your different sources, you can lock it by pressing this block button. Simple. Okay. So when you want to add a new source, you want to press the plus button. Let's add. And now you have all of these different options. So the first one is actually a plugin, and we'll go more into plugins later. So in the base version of OBS, you will not have this. You will need to install a plugin. So we'll go over that one next in another video. Audio input capture. That is going to capture anything like microphones plugged into your PC. So if I select this, it'll allow me to add a new input audio device, and you can see all the microphones I have there available at my disposal. Let's get rid of that for now. Okay, so the next option, and again we'll go through audio in another video as well, more in depth. Next option we have is audio output capture. Now this will be an option for any audio that comes out of your PC. So anything that you hear through your speakers, for example, is set to default. So any audio that comes out of your PC will be captured via default. However, you can change this to perhaps game audio via your Elgato capture card, or you could change it to Chrome so that anything out of Chrome is coming out via all output capture. And we'll go through that in another time. Browser. So you can add a browser source like a web page or a widget via browser source. And again, we'll go through that another time as well. Color source. This will just add a random color box to your scene. So like we went through before with the overlays, you can add a color source there. We've been through that. Again, you'll see this more as we progress through the OBS tutorials on the channel. Display capture. This will allow you to see exactly what you can see on my screen. This is a display capture. If you have 3 monitors like I do, it will give you an option to select 3 monitors. And we can go through displays another time as well. Guys, everything here I'm going to go through more in depth and what you can do with it. So don't panic if you aren't sure just yet. Game capture will capture any PC game that you have. Now, it's important to remember, game capture will not pick up your Elgato card. This is not how you capture gameplay footage from an Elgato card, and we'll go through that as well. But game capture will capture most PC games. Now, it doesn't work with all of them. I have come across experiences where it doesn't capture a certain game, and that might be through something like Xbox Game Pass. If you need to do that, you can either do display capture or you can do window capture. So we'll go through that again another time, capturing gameplay and recording gameplay, etc. Image is self-explanatory. You can insert an image here. Image slideshow has a pre-built image slideshow feature where it will slide through images at a certain speed that you set. So again, you can mess with the properties of this. Personally, I've never used an image slideshow, but you might find it useful if you're showing off maybe pictures of your moderators. Would be a cool idea on your intro screen or something along those lines, or perhaps the games that you're currently playing, etc., etc. Media source is basically anything media related. Is really self-explanatory, whether it's images or music or anything along those lines. It will play multimedia files. So we'll go through that again another time. Scene. Now this is a very useful one. As you can see in my scenes box, you have nested sources. Now what a nested source is something that you can input in every single other scene. So if I go to my nested sources, you can see here, these are all sources that I want appearing on every single scene that I create. And rather than having to add them individually on each scene, I can create a nested source. So I've done a nested source scene. I've added everything that I want to appear, like my alert boxes, my emote wall, my sound deck, my Discord audio, my channel points, and I've got some other bits and pieces here as well, like shout outs. I want them all to appear on every single scene I have. So what I've done here is I've gone to scene, and then you can choose which scene you want to nest in that scene. So I've got one called nested sources, obviously. I'd select that and it would appear here. So that's quite handy if you don't want to keep adding the same thing over and over again. It's very quick to do. It's a nice little feature to have. The other ones here we've got are, again, plugins that you will not have in the base OBS. We have a shader, and we have source mirror. These are to do with the Move FX stream effects plugin that you can get on the OBS forum. Again, we'll go through plugins another time, and we will do more advanced tutorials on OBS as well. Text you will have, and this is quite simple. You can add text to your screen, and you would click on this, and you can either add existing text that you already created on another scene, or you can create new text. So I click OK, and then I can type here, hello. And as you can see, it appears straight up on your screen. You can select the font. You can read from file, which we'll go through another time too. Text transforms, you can have it lowercase, start case, uppercase. You can choose if you want it vertical or horizontal. You can select the color, the opacity, which is, really useful. So you can make it kind of blend in. You can have a gradient, and you can do all of this kind of stuff. Again, text we'll go through in another video more in depth on what you can do with text and creative things you can do with text. Then you have video capture device. This will be to capture your camera, as the icon suggests, but also your Elgato card. So this is what you would use to capture your gameplay from another device, whether it be another PC or a console. So you would select this and you create new, and then you have the option. So right here is giving me the option for Game Capture HD6 Pro, which is what I have as an Elgato card. This will also give you other options as well, like for virtual cameras, so like Polypop camera, Snap camera for filters, OBS virtual camera, Elgato Game Capture HD, and also your webcams will be through this too. So that's nice to know, right? So we're going to get rid of that, and again, we'll go through that more in depth later. Then we have window capture, which is essentially exactly what it says on the tin. You capture any window that you've got open on your PC. So right now, it's looking at the sound capture because that's the only thing I've got running in the background, right? So you can have it automatic, Windows 10. I just always leave it on automatic, to be honest. And you can do other things here as well, like capture cursor. You can turn that on and off. So if you don't want your cursor there, that's really handy. And it's something I always forget, so it's a good thing to note down. And then you've got group. So you can group things together. So you can create a folder. And you can be like, okay, I want these two things in this group, right? So you can go bang, bang, and then you can minimize it. Look at that. You got a group. You can group them together to make it a little bit more organized, right? So that is really, in a nutshell, what a scene is. Very, very easy to get your head around. There is a settings button down here. So if you click this takes you to the settings of that particular source. So again, you can go to settings here, and you can also right click properties. Now there are some right click options, of course, on scenes. So we're going to do that now. We're going to go through that quickly. So display capture, if I right click here, you will see add. And again, you can just add the same, like add another source, and it will populate underneath. You can copy the source. Now there's two different pastes. Reference will be the exact same source that you've got. So if you have it in another scene and paste it in another scene, you will not only get a duplicate, but you'll also be referencing it. So any changes that you make, for example, if you turn the camera to black and white, it will also be black and white in the other scene that it's referencing. So just a heads up there. If you want to paste it and have it completely different, have a different effect on it or a different filter, you want to use the duplicate. Otherwise, you're going to get the same copy if you use a reference. Then you've got copy filters and paste filters. So if I have a filter on this here, I can copy the filters on it and then paste filters on something else. You can set the color. So this is just basically to more organization. So you can color code things. If I set this to green, you can see down here, it's highlighted green. It's just really for organizational reasons. You can rename, you can remove, you can order, so you can again move up and down, move top and bottom like you can with the scenes as well. Transform, you can edit transform, reset transform. This is basically the move options here that you can transform your image with. You can rotate it. You can flip horizontal, you can fit to screen, stretch to screen, center to screen. Now this screen is basically saying this, your canvas, right? That is your screen. So if you were to do stretch to screen, it would stretch the image to fit the screen. If you fit it to screen, it will take its resolution and fit it appropriately. Again, you can center vertically or horizontally as well. If they're smaller images, that might be a little bit more useful for you. Scale filtering, I do not use, and I would suggest just leaving it on disable. Blending mode, again, don't really use that all that much. I don't feel like these really make much of a difference, especially for things that I do. Perhaps you may have a use for it. Let me know. Full screen projector source you can do quite easily. So that would just basically put your preview pane, your canvas, onto another monitor as full screen. So perhaps you have a TV above your setup that you want to project your stream onto. This is what you would do. You can have a windowed one, so you can move it to another monitor. You can screenshot it, but again, you can always use your keyboard shortcuts for that as normal. Show transition and hide transition are pretty useful. So, for example, if I want to show transition, fade, and then I want to hide transition, swipe. Okay, we'll go through transitions another time, but check this out. Swipe, fade, swipe, fade. This is really useful if you're switching sources within a scene, like perhaps you want to hide things and move things away as and when you need to. It just gives that nice little professional transition rather than just a straight cut, which I find really helpful. Then, of course, you've got filters. You can set filters on anything. If I wanted to, I could blur this, blur, and as you can see, I've now blurred this sequence. And then again, you can go to filters, delete, done. So yeah, this really is sources in a nutshell. I hope this has been useful for you guys. I hope that you guys do find use of these tutorials. Let me know down in the comments below if I've missed over anything, if there's anything you want explaining, and I will see you with the next one. Take care.